Good morning, everybody. My name is Kentrell and we'll be talking about the debate of athlete salaries and the compensation thereof. Before we get into it, I'd like to give a little bit of an introduction about myself. I played high school football for about 3.5 years at Oxford High School in Oxford, Mississippi. Right here, as you can see, this is a picture of me participating in one of many intramural sports right here. This is a picture of when I was very young, back at Ellsworth Air Force Base, South Dakota. Now, granted, I'm going to show you another slide before we really get into it of these stadiums. Now, granted, these are the four major sports that are often talked about. We got football over here, we got basketball, we also got baseball and soccer. Now, these are sold out stadiums. The only reason these stadiums are sold out are because of average Joes like you or me. A lot of the time, we don't come across a super fan, which is few and far between of a small percentage of people that have based their whole life off this team. Now, granted, I'm not saying that to show that you're not the best of fans when it comes to your team, so this is no disrespect. However, we have all witnessed a great historical sporting event that has impacted us in some sort of way. For myself, my favorite player of all time is Kobe Bryant. I take his mentality, his grind of what he did throughout 20 years of basketball history, and I try to apply it every day to what I do, being the best at what I can be and sharpening my sword. So that way it's never dull when the time is right. All right, going on to the next category, I'm going to show you the sales between 2006 and 2022. As you can see, it steadily rises. The only reason this happens is because of us. We work our average 9 to 5, sometimes 12 to 12, doing gruesome 24 to 12 hour shifts just to go see these people that we might not know. And all is because they're great. Now, going from high school to college, let alone a good college, is 14% of athletes reaching that tier. Now, people going from the collegiate tier, it gets drastically smaller. So we're going from a large people, and you got to keep in mind, I came from a large school where we had 120 people, and only 14% of that can actually go to a college. That's quite insane. And you take that 14%, and you take 1% that actually goes to their designated pro level team, let alone league. And then it gets even smaller to another 1% of the people that you actually see and know. So just based off this, we use all this money just to go see that 1% of the 1%. And to me, that's pretty insane. All right, moving on. These are the highest paid salaries in the US. Now, granted, we are spending a lot of money to go fill out every single stadium. And this is let alone an NFL stadium. And these are what people make. As you can see behind me, I'm going to step away for a bit. We have an IT in 2023, in 2024, making $101,000. We're spending more to fill up NFL stadiums than an IT worker makes. Now, granted, everybody that is listed on here, these are people that we need day in and day out. If these people and celebrities did not have these, they would not be playing in these games. As we move on, I'll expand upon that topic. I'll let you resonate with that one. We're going to move on to the next. I'm going to show you now a chart of the highest paid athletes. And here we are. Now, granted, this is, once again, no disrespect to sports commentators or sports people that have made it to their respective lives. But as you can see right here, the number one paid athlete in 2023 as of right now is Cristiano Ronaldo. And he makes $136 million in the past 3 years. Now, I know what you're thinking. He's earned that. He is great. Throughout his whole career, he has done nothing but greatness. Everything he has touched has been gold. But my question and argument to you would be, what can one person do with 136 millions that a whole state can't utilize? I will sit and let you resonate on that. As you can see, the top 10 right here, going from Cristiano Ronaldo all the way down to Kevin Durant, these people are making once-in-a-lifetime money that can feed generations upon generations. I would tell you myself, if I had $89.1 million, I could feed myself, I can feed my entire family, I can feed my extended family, and I can feed my neighbor's family. So that's pretty insane. All right, we're gonna go on to the next slide, and I'm gonna show you these are the top 4 players that make money in their respective sports. Of course, we have basketball to the top left, we got football to the top right, soccer to the bottom right, and we got baseball to the bottom left. As you notice, these numbers are incredibly ridiculous. When I say ridiculous, this is money that we can't even fathom. We see this and we get upset. This does bring a sub-argument into why do athletes complain about their contracts when a lot of people are not going to see that contract. But of course, that's another rabbit hole for later. Right now, we're just focusing on the amount they're making right now and where it can be used to be put into. Because right now, Like I said once before, if I had $51.9 million, I could do a whole bunch of things. If a state had $51.9 million, do you know what you can do with that? There's a ton of things, but at the same time, we must remember that 1% does make it to the professional leagues, and there is a 1% of guys that only see money like this. Now, on to the question of what can we use with that money that these athletes are making? For starters, how about education? We have a bunch of teachers that are teaching the students, because without all these people all together, we do not have some of these athletes. As you see in some of these interviews, they say a lot of teachers motivated them to go chase their dreams, to be who they want to be, and not let anybody tell them. But often, as you see now in today's climate, that a lot of teachers do not get paid enough for this. They're dealing with hazardous stuff. We're dealing with shootings and so on and so forth. Of course, I won't jump into that rabbit hole too much, but of course, we'll look at construction. Without this, we would not have the stadiums to go to in order to do it. We'll look at doctors. These doctors are taking care of our athletes. They're taking care of you and I. Dentists, they may not be listed up here, but of course, they are taking care of our teeth. They're taking care of our hygiene where we fail, because we can only do so much, and they know the ins and outs of what we need to do. Same thing with health. If I hurt my hamstring right here, they're going to show me how to rehab that. The people that keep us safe are law enforcement right here. We need them day in and day out for the people that do not care, to keep them in check. We have all our mechanics. So all these people right here are showing you, our average Joes, are the reasons why we're able to make it to the stadiums to support these athletes. Now, granted, you can argue that, yes, NFL owners have all this kind of money and it's their money to use. But at the same time, athletes can start charities, and some have, and I would not take that away from them, some have made charities and made donations to different causes. But of course, we do have the glaring issues of potholes right here, and that money can be used for renovations for our schools. This can pay it forward to the next generation of athletes that we're going to be seeing. So I would just leave that with you guys. We need to think about how much money we're putting into these athletes that probably don't even know us, versus our people that are taking care of our next generation and that are going to take care of our next generation. And think, are we really overpaying them, and are we really undervaluing our essential assets? Of course, right here, you'll see right here a list of my sources. If you ever want to look up, of course, right here, we have the average salary of our jobs right here that we talked about earlier, as well as our most paid athletes that I had earlier. So if you want to take a look at that, this summer of sports has been pretty crazy as well. So if my list seems out of date, of course, it's been a crazy summer, and a lot of people have been getting paid a lot recently. And of course, this is our best paid occupation listed in 2020. Like I said, it's very important that we consider and talk about what we're doing and how much are we paying them. At some point, we got to look at the glaring issue of if we're putting these athletes on a pedestal and if we're not treating our essential workers as they need to be. Thank you very much for your time.